and thank you for being here with me. I I come to do these lives because we are all going through shifts in our lives, and it's really fascinating to me that most often we think we're the only ones going through these experiences, but we're not. And most recently, I discovered that Saturn Saturn return process is something that all of us will experience, hopefully more than once in our lifetimes, regardless of the fact you know it or not. It's something that happens to us all. So I wanted to talk about this today to shed some light, some insight, and answer any questions that you may have, because some of you may be experiencing your Saturn return right now. A lot of us are going through shifts. So I am grateful to have you here, soulmates, and glad that everybody is in a good space. But I want to ask you all for a moment. Have you ever had this experience in your life where you just felt like things were falling apart, maybe piece by piece? It could have been maybe your career, even your relationship, or maybe even like your sense of identity, your sense of yourself. And like I said, some of you could be experiencing this right now. Again, not happening to you, it's happening for you. It's almost as if life is stripping you down to your core, forcing you to confront everything that you've been avoiding, because it's human nature. We will avoid and we will run and we will distract ourselves and we'll continue to go through the motions, not paying attention to internally what is happening with us. And sometimes these shifts can be painful, uncomfortable most of the time, especially when it's unexpected, because we try to plan our life as best as possible, right? We all have a plan, but we also know that plans don't always work out the way that we had anticipated them. Basically, just like life. Nobody's life looks the way that they thought it was going to look, right? Because we can't determine what spirit has in store for us. All we can do is prepare for it as best as we can. But truthfully, what feels like destruction is actually an invitation for us to pause, to reflect, and to essentially think about where we are in our lives and what it is that needs to change. Whenever there's a shift, especially the shifts that we're experiencing now, it's always an invitation from spirit to get us to get clear, to see what needs to disappear, what needs to shake, what needs to change. So if the life that you're living today disappears, soulmates, what part of it would you fight to rebuild? And what part would you just let fall away without regret? And I want to pause right there and ask you all that. And I want you to, if you feel inclined to, share your comments in the chat, because I don't think we think about that a lot. If there were certain things that were to disappear, would you be willing to fight for it? If your job was to disappear, would you fight for it? Or would you let it go away without regret? If the relationship ended, would you fight for it? Or would you let it fall away without regret? What if your whole identity changed? Yes, Solomon, deep seek change in our world. And it's just going to continue to evolve, continue to change. What's that one thing that you're holding on to, no matter what happens? And again, what would you let go of without even looking back? I know for a lot of us, there are certain things that we hold on to so tightly, especially when it comes to material things. But when you think about it, most of those things can be replaced. Certain parts of our lives, certain aspects are irreplaceable. But we often want to hold on to the things that are replaceable, right? The material things. Hey, Louise, how are you, beautiful? Oh, thank you. I want to let go of things, but it's scary. Mostly material things like my job. And Louise, thank you for sharing that. It's good to see you. I understand that. I absolutely understand that. And as someone who has let a job disappear but disappeared, and stepping out on my faith and doing what it is that I love to do as an entrepreneur. It's uncomfortable. It can be challenging, but I'm committed to it. And having a job, again, is something that is secure, but it's not really that secure, because realistically, an employer can get rid of you at any time. I know, because I worked in HR for years and had to do it. So again, when these things fall apart, when they disappear, it's universe's invitation. It's a signal to get us to see that it's time for us to shift. There's time for a change. That's the energy of a Saturn return. Because a Saturn return is not here to punish you. It's here to realign you. It's asking you to take a hard look at your life and truly ask yourself, what's real? What's fake? What's false? What's really worth holding on to? And the thing about Saturn is it does not whisper. Saturn is a planet that will shake things up. It shakes the foundations of your life so you can rebuild something stronger. And yet so many of us resist it because we cling on to versions of ourselves that we've outgrown, because we're afraid of what would happen if we were to let it go. Hey, Michelle, you said that I'm in that space now. I walked away from my job. Time for a change indeed. Thank you, Michelle, for joining and sharing that. And congratulations. It can be challenging, but obviously if you had to walk away, you did what was best for you. And I am a firm believer that when one door closes, there is another door. And because you decided to walk away, you realize your worth, your value, and you realize you wanted more. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm proud of you for making that choice. I'm proud of anybody for having to go through these shifts. Louise says they can drop us at any time. My boss doesn't appreciate any of us. And it feels like, yeah. A lot of times, Louise, they don't, because again, even our bosses are humans. They're going through the human experience as well. But because they're in a challenging position, in a leadership position, and because they lack those true connection skills and the emotional intelligence to connect with the employees, they often come off as not being supportive, as not being appreciative. And that's the exact opposite thing of what an employee needs. Anything that we do is relationship based. So it's important that the foundation is solid, and that's at work, in our homes. So it really baffles me that, especially in corporate, how it's so difficult for those in upper level roles, directors, managers, to have that knack for being able to connect, being able to appreciate their employees. Hi, Michael. Lost my job recently. Ultimately, everything ends or changes state. So holding on to material things doesn't really make much sense. I agree with what you said. I think we cling to things, always being due to fear. That's true, Michael. And because we get comfortable. And there's nothing wrong with that. We get comfortable with having a check every 1-2 weeks, bi-monthly, whatever the case may be. And it feels good because we're paying the bills. We're doing the bare minimum. We're doing what we're supposed to do. But when Saturn return hits, there's nothing that you can do about that, because it's an evolutionary process that we'll go through at certain times in our lives. And again, Saturn is the planet that will shake things up. It can be chaotic. I experienced it when I was married, but it was an opportunity essentially for me to align with the life that I was meant to live, because I'm no longer married, but here I am today, happy, healthy, free. I still have a wonderful relationship with my husband, and I couldn't ask for anything more, even though during the time it was extremely chaotic. But what truths about yourselves have you been avoiding? And what would it take to finally face it? Because that's the heart of this journey. Saturn doesn't want you to just survive the chaos. It wants you to thrive in alignment with the life that you're meant to live. Saturn is not trying to break us down. It's liberating us, essentially. But only if you're willing to let go of the heavy things, the fake things, the things that are no longer you. We got to allow the broken pieces to fall apart, because you're growing and you've been carrying these things for far too long. So today I want to dive into what one of the most transformative cycles in astrology is, our Saturn return. So whether you're in your late 20s, which is usually the first Saturn return, or your late 50s, which is normally the second one, or maybe you're just navigating the chapter right now of deep transformational change, Saturn's energy is showing up to strip away what no longer is serving us, so you can continue to rebuild that life rooted in truth, rooted in purpose and alignment. So what we're going to talk about today is what the spiritual meaning is of Saturn's return and why it's one of the most pivotal cycles in your life, as well as the role of Saturn in astrology, what the energy is, the purpose behind it, and why is it really challenging us to grow, and the collective impact of Saturn, because currently Saturn is in Pisces and it's been there since 2023 and it'll be here until 2026. And I want to talk about what that would look like for us on a collective level. Whether you know it or not, it still will affect you individually. And I want to help you be able to recognize the areas of your life where Saturn is asking you to rebuild and how to release what's holding you back from being able to rebuild. And this is more than just about astrology. I'm really talking about the way Saturn return shows up, and also find out if maybe you experienced the Saturn return, or if you can recall your Saturn return and maybe you just didn't know that's what it was. Hey, James, how are you doing? Happy New Year, King. It's good to see you. A shadow past follows me where I failed to fight for what mattered most. Left only with the ache of regret when it was gone. I've been working on it. One day at a time, James. One day at a time. And I'm proud of you for admitting that. What does Saturn have to do with it? Does that serve as a vocal point? Yes, Michael, I am about to dive into that. Because what we don't realize is all of the planets all have energetic currency frequencies that we experience here on Earth. They don't talk a lot about it. We just think that life is just getting bad for no reason, but everything is happening for us. So it's Saturn return, Michael, is an astrological event that happens when Saturn returns to the exact position in the sky it occupied the day that you were born. It's essentially like a cosmic checkpoint. It's a time of self-reflection, often personal growth, that again can feel intense and chaotic, especially in your late 20s, because mentally you haven't really developed certain things, or maybe you're going through a period where you're ready to settle down, but you still haven't experienced certain life lessons. And I'm speaking as someone who experienced this the hard way. And most often than not, people find themselves questioning their relationships, careers, finances, and their very sense of their purpose during their Saturn return, especially in their mid-50s. Saturn's transit right now is in Pisces, and that's absolutely bringing about profound transformation, self-analysis, and growth for all of us. So Saturn can bring challenges such as family tension, financial difficulties, and some insecurities. But there are opportunities for growth, because Saturn is here to bring about growth. It wants you to grow. It wants you to evolve. So it's essentially a cosmic reset. It's the cosmic nudge. And you either accept it, you grow through it, or you learn from it, or you resist it. Again, it can be chaotic because it will bring about tension. But again, it's here to help you evolve. Maybe you need to shake up. Maybe it's time for you to have a new career like Michelle decided. Maybe it's time for you to create a different type of plan for financial stability. Maybe it's a time for emotional healing, because Saturn will prompt emotional healing and a reevaluation of all of these areas of our life. As well, too, Saturn can bring about natural disasters. And right now, Saturn's transit in Pisces is really influencing this. We've already seen what's been happening. I just heard, was that yesterday, that Maine just had a 3.8 magnitude earthquake. We've had earthquakes, we've had wildfires. So there has been an increase in natural disasters and conflict. But again, this is the energy right now that we're in. It's helping us to get to a better world, a better space, individually, collectively, on a societal level. Saturn's transit right now can feel confusing. It can be uncertain, but there's a deep desire for more meaning. So if you're feeling confused, if you're feeling like right now things may be uncertain for you, maybe you're going through a transition, know that you're not alone, because Saturn return will bring about turmoil and breakdowns, but with that comes clarity, comes profound transformation, because it's breaking you down to build you back up, because it wants to align you with your truth. So this planet is essentially known as the stern teacher of the zodiac. So it can be very, very stern, because it is a planet that is going to require you to grow and change. Hey, Louise, change is so hard, but everything is temporary and change is inevitable. Yes, I actually posted something yesterday on I think on my socials, both, I don't know, Facebook, Instagram. And what I said was, never get attached to a person, a place, a thing, a company, an organization, a job. Never get attached to anything like that. Again, things that are replaceable. Get attached to a purpose, a meaning for why you show up the way that you do, why you show up in the world the way that you are. What's your sole purpose? Don't allow the external world to make you feel like if you don't have all of those things in order, that you're chaotic, or that you are not meant to be where you're supposed to be. Allow yourself to go through this shift. So Saturn, the stern teacher, is here to shake us up. And it transits again through this wave of change, challenges, and to help us grow. So usually when you have your first Saturn return, it's normally around the age of 27 to 30. Happens around 20, your late 20s, like I said, and it normally lasts about 3 years. So it could happen around 28, 27 and a half, 28, and it essentially is the transition into your adulthood. Let's think about where we were in our mid to late 20s, and then when we went to our early 30s. I know me personally, I got married at 29. And also my career was changing. I decided to really pursue human resources. I was passionate about it. I had my degree. I was evolving. I was growing in my career, but I wasn't really happy in none of the jobs I was in. So that's what the first Saturn return can look like. And usually the second one occurs between the age of 57 and 60, which people like to call a midlife crisis. I like to call it a midlife awakening, because it's a reflection on your legacy, because now you're at a point in your life where maybe you're getting ready to retire, or maybe you're thinking about retirement. Maybe you have grandchildren. Maybe your family is growing. So maybe you're thinking about the legacy that you want to create. And then the third Saturn return normally happens in your late 80s, marking a powerful period of reflection and spiritual closure. God is willing if you're able to get to that point. Oh my goodness. Hey, soulmates. I'm so sorry. I have not been checking in on Instagram or Facebook. Thank you for joining. Hey, Gus. I will fight for my health first. Yes. Yes. 2024 was a big test for me. I had to let 4 friends go. Wow. Everybody can't go with you to your next chapter. I had to make drastic changes to my diet. I chose to take a pay cut on a job so I could have more personal time. Good for you. And I made a promise to myself to concentrate on my true purpose. 2025 is my personal year of Jubilee. I love it. Cosmic reset. Hey, Andrew. Thank you for joining. 2024 was my biggest hit. I lost my sister due to kidney failure. Condolences. Oh, wow. My cousin died by suicide. My cousin's husband died in a car accident, all in a 90-day period. Then my uncle died of a heart attack. Andrew, thank you for joining, and condolences. That is a lot. That is a lot to carry, and so much love and light on that grief process and dealing with loss. That's probably one of the biggest transformations you can experience, is when you lose people that you love. Hey, Romeo, thank you for joining. People that are close to you, and then, as they say, death seems to travel in threes for whatever reason. So condolences to you, and just sending you so much love and light, and take it one day at a time. Hello, family on Instagram. Thank you. Hey, Rev, it's good to see you, beautiful. Hey, Laura. Hi, Mikey. So going back to Insight Timer, Michelle, has a weight been lifted since walking away from your job? Yeah, that's another thing. Again, a job loss. That's a huge loss. Again, that's grief. I actually went through the same thing when I was going through my Saturn return. I lost a job. I did. I went through that same shift. Louise says it was a corporate job, very fast paced and physically draining. I haven't yet found my next opportunity, but I don't regret walking away. And I truly believe that everything always works out. Oh, it does. Always working out for your greatest and best good. And I love your optimistic attitude, Michelle. That's the right attitude to have. And that's how you're going to attract what's truly aligned for you. So, like I was saying, right now, Saturn is in Pisces. And as you know, Pisces is essentially the last sign of the zodiac. I know calendar-wise, it looks like it isn't because I know Pisces season is coming up next. But astrologically, Pisces is actually the end. Aries actually starts the beginning of it. So because Pisces is the last sign and it's the zodiac associated with spirituality, mysticism, and emotional depth. And Saturn has been here since March 7th of 2023. And it will stay here until February 13th of 2026. So if you were born between May 1st of 93 and April 7th, 1996, chances are you're already in the thick of your first Saturn return. I don't know if I have anybody here around that age, but they are experiencing it. But even if you're not in that space, can you recall what it was like for you? What was your life like back then in your late 20s, early 30s? Do you recall what your Saturn return experience looked like? Were you living authentically? Because let's be honest, we all go through shifts, ebbs and flows. And at 29, 30, we really don't know who we are. I remember thinking I was getting old, but I had no idea the way my life was really changing. And when I tell you my Saturn return was so chaotic and confusing, I felt like I was watching a version of me that I couldn't understand. And I knew I was going through something and I couldn't make sense of it. And it was like I was doing things and I was behaving in ways that was outside of me, that was unlike me, but I just couldn't put my finger on it. And I knew mentally I was going through something and I was trying to get support, but I wasn't really doing enough for myself. And I just had to go through the process. Again, it wasn't a pretty process, but I had to go through it. Hey, Stephanie. Okay, so now you're 59. So you are perhaps going through your second Saturn return. And I don't know if you want to share what your life has been like, if you've had any transformations or shifts, or maybe you're going through a spiritual evolution. Maybe you're starting to rethink about life, or maybe you're looking at your years ahead. I remember hearing a lot about the midlife crisis thing until I got older and I realized it's not a crisis at all. Stephanie says, I was loving my life, taught for 30 years, now trying to figure it out. Thank you for sharing that. That's a long time. And thank you for teaching 30 years. That's powerful. And congratulations. And now you got a new leash on life. Are you currently retired then? Because I know you say you're trying to figure it out. And I think 59 is still young. In fact, I think we're aging backwards. I think 59 is the new 49. Because the people that I've been seeing lately that are like 80 and 70, they look a lot younger. So I think that's beautiful. And I think you have a lot to look forward to. But in your late 20s, it's just a time of much change, right? It's a reckoning. It was a reckoning for me. It was essentially about breaking down what wasn't working, what was not working, and stepping fully into the life that was meant for me to live. Now, could I have done things differently then? Absolutely. But essentially, I still got back on the right path. So for some of us, maybe you have experienced a period where you were going through a major breakup, or like I said, a career pivot. Maybe you were relocating. I was going through relationship pivots, job shifts. I didn't have any location shifts, but I did want to relocate. But again, Saturn doesn't care about any of that external stuff because again, the material things, it doesn't matter. Because Saturn is here to make you confront all those versions of you that you shaped because of everybody else's and societal expectations, so that you can decide whether it's time for you to let that go. And that discomfort is real, but so is the opportunity for growth. So for you, Stephanie, allow yourself to just play. Just, oh wow, teaching yoga, 20s, 30s, 40s. You are grinding. Yes, Stephanie, that is so true. And now I'm 41 and I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to have to grind like that. I want to be able to do something that brings me fulfillment. I don't want to go into corporate just to get the check, knowing that deeply inside, I'm not aligned with this. I'm not in agreement with the way things are functioning. I'm not in agreement with the way we're treating people. That's why I had to take a step out, because 10 years ago, I was just focused on the grind. Like you said, I just wanted to get the money. Yes, Louise, I am. I'm an 80s baby, 83. Yep, 10/28/83. Oh, come on, birthday twin. Yes, sis, we're in this together. So you going through what you're going through is not by accident. I know that's right, Stephanie. I'll eat top ramen. It's the peace of mind for me. And it has not been easy making this shift, but I have a peace of mind and a different type of fulfillment. Like, I don't feel the burnout, or I don't feel the mental and emotional anxiety and stress that I used to feel when I would have to lay people off or let people go that had been working for 30, 40 years because the company wants to cut back money. That was weighing heavy on my conscience. But nobody in corporate cares about that. Nobody even asked, was I okay? You know, so that for me was my wake up call. I didn't understand that then, but my Saturn return in my late 20s was a lot more about my relationships and essentially the relationship to myself. But when you're in your late 50s, and I have not gotten there yet, and I'm praying that I do, your Saturn return may have you questioning, have you built the life that reflects your highest potential? Like Stephanie says, I'm figuring it out now, because at this stage, it's not about crisis, because there's nothing to do with the crises. It's clarity. So that second Saturn return is offering you a chance to pause and to realign with the version of you today, because we're never going to be the same. And that's why the Saturn return process happens. We are not going to be the same people we were at 30. We're not going to be the same people that we were at 59, that we are at 40 and 41. So this is the opportunity to figure out what it is that I want now. It's the time to access your legacy. Maybe you want to create a legacy that you're building, or maybe you want to release old roles or old relationships. Like you said, I want to live a happier, healthier life. I want to get rid of certain habits, certain people. Like Gus said, I had to allow certain people to leave. I had to end certain relationships. And that's okay. It's not always easy, but you have to allow yourself to let go of these things, because essentially it's just going to hold you back. And you know you deserve something more fulfilling. So Saturn brings you face to face with the life you're built, and it asks, does it honor your highest self? So this is an invitation to reflect on all those decades of wisdom that you've accumulated, and an opportunity to create something even more meaningful for the years ahead. I can't wait to see 59. For me, somebody who very much dreaded the aging process, because I always equated getting older with death because of my own personal experiences. Now I embrace age because it's a gift, and I can't wait to have my second Saturn return in my 50s. Hey, Kathleen. At 29, I ended a 6-year relationship, moved across the country, and started my first business, an outside music festival. It was all immersive and amazing. Now I'm early 60s in the next one. Oh my gosh, Kathleen, that sounds so wonderful. That is so dope. And I love that for you. Congrats. And I'm looking at your profile photo. I don't know how you're supposed to look at 60, but you look beautiful, Queen. That's what I mean. We are aging backwards. You look great, and congratulations. That sounds wonderful. And I love that you took that risk, even at 29. I was a mom at 29, so I just wanted what was best for my son, and tried to do what was best for my family, the best that I could. It wasn't always the best decisions that I made, but I love that you took that risk and you walked away from a long relationship, a 6-year relationship. I know it was crazy intense. Thank you for sharing that. That is so powerful. And congrats. So I want to talk more about what the Saturn return is looking like now for us, or rather not the Saturn return, but rather what Saturn return will look like for you based on your astrology chart, on your personal astrology chart, because it depends on where Saturn falls. And for the most part, we all have Saturn falling somewhere in our chart, but each sign carries unique lessons and themes shaped around our challenges and transformations. And that will dictate how your Saturn return will affect you in your life. So for those that are not familiar with where Saturn may fall in their natal chart, please feel free to reach out to me. I can help you figure that out. But for those that do know, if your Saturn falls in Aries, you'll probably face lessons around independence, around competition, and trusting your own decisions. This is essentially a lesson about stepping into your power as an individual. And if your Saturn falls in Taurus, these themes revolve around money, security, and stability. It's about reevaluating relationships and your resources with your own self-worth. Does anybody know where their Saturn is? Mine is in Scorpio, of course. I have a Scorpio and Sagittarius stallion, meaning I have 4 planets that fall in Scorpio and Sagittarius. And Saturn for me is in Scorpio. But if you have Saturn in Gemini, and Gemini is the house related to communication. So if your Saturn is in Gemini, communication and connection with others comes into focus for you. You'll learn how to refine how you express yourself and how you relate to others around you. And then if you have a Saturn in Cancer, your Saturn return will bring about lessons around emotional vulnerability, creating secure foundation, especially in your family and home life, because that's what Cancer is related to. Your Saturn is in Libra, Louise. Okay. So for you, your Saturn return would possibly bring about shifts in relationships, partnerships, and your compromise becoming one of your greatest teachers. So you may be asked to evaluate what balance truly means in your life. You talked about work. And when I say relationships and partnerships, I don't just mean romantic. I mean work relationships, platonic relationships, familial relationships. So you having this shift with your boss and the situation with work, maybe that's probably why. So I don't know what your last Saturn return was like, but pay attention to when you go through your next Saturn return, what that experience may be like for you. And for those who have their Saturn return in Leo, it's all about ego, and their personal identity start to take center stage. It's about learning how to express yourself authentically without relying on external validation. Because Leos, we are, and I'm a Leo rising, so that's why I say we are forward center. We're face front people, but we also have to be very cognizant of the ego. Remember, I just did the live the other day about the ego death experience because I had to realize I was living in my ego. And if your Saturn is in Virgo, perfectionism and control issues might be tested, because this is the opportunity for you to learn to let go of the need to micromanage and instead embrace imperfection. And for those that have a Saturn return in Scorpio or Saturn in Scorpio, your Saturn return process was about diving deep into intimacy, trust, and transformation. A powerful time of shedding old fears and embracing emotional rebirth. And if you have a Saturn in Sag, it's about expansion, about growth, about your beliefs. Those are what will come into focus, because your Saturn return is challenging you to align your actions with your highest truths. And if you have one in Saturn in Capricorn, this is going to spotlight your career, your legacy, your long-term goals. It's essentially about putting in the work to create success and stability that will last. I'll have to Google the last time it happened. So you know what, Louise, you can actually go on Google and you can look up the Saturn return calculator, and it will tell you specifically when you experienced it, because I was able to pinpoint the exact time frame that I had my Saturn return, and I can remember exactly what was going on in my life during my Saturn return. Anybody who has Saturn in Aquarius, themes of innovation, community, your role in society comes to the forefront. It's Aquarius season. That's what Aquarius is known for. Very innovative. So for you, it's about finding your unique place in a collective. And if you have, again, your Saturn in Pisces, it's about spirituality, emotional boundaries, your intuition, our central focuses. It's about grounding dreams into reality and letting go of illusions. Essentially, Saturn is meeting you where you are, but it won't leave you there. Each sign carries its own lessons, but the one universal truth is Saturn asks you to face what you've been avoiding. It's time for you to look in the mirror. It's time to build a life rooted in authenticity. Oh, wow, Stephanie, a Sagittarian. Yes. So you got a little fire in you. So absolutely. And so going back to your question, Louise, I experienced my Saturn return during October 5th, 2012 through December 23rd, 2024. Then again, June 14th, 2015 through September 17th, 2015. And at that time, I remember I actually got engaged on my birthday, October 28th, 2012. Got married December 31st, 2012. My dad transitioned December 2nd, 2014. I was going through so much emotionally. I could not understand what was going on. Even before my father transitioned, the minute I got married, I thought I had it all figured out. Because I knew I loved the person that I was with, and I loved the family, and I believed that I was stepping into the life that I was supposed to have. But from the outside, there was this growing sense of misalignment. Like I said, I was going through something that I just could not make sense of. And I couldn't express it to my partner, but I just knew something wasn't right. And when you don't know it, but your soul knows, and you know yourself well, you know when you're out of alignment. But because I didn't have the self-awareness that I do now, and I didn't have all of the challenges and lessons that I had to go through later on, I didn't understand what it was that I should have been doing then. So I did the exact opposite of what Saturn was trying to get me to do. Because from the outside, everything was looking perfect. But on the inside, I was so disconnected, so misaligned. And by the time I turned 35, after my Saturn return had ended, my marriage was over. Because I was going through so much during that period of my marriage. Those were the most pivotal years. The beginning of the marriage is when my Saturn return really took effect. And because marriage is a huge transition in your life, again, when you go through certain transitional periods, again, happening for you, it's a moment for you to evolve and grow. Now, I was married on paper, and yes, I was his wife, but mentally and emotionally, I didn't feel like his wife. I didn't even have the mindset of a wife because I hadn't grown. I hadn't had the maturity yet. I hadn't learned the lessons. I hadn't essentially learned how to truly love myself in order to love my partner. Okay, it says I was 27. That was a tough time for me. Oh, wow, Louise. Did you? I lost my dad a few years earlier. Condolences to you. 27 through 30. I think I was a hot mess central. Also started the immigration process. Wow. And you know what? That's a part of the human experience. That's why you go through your 20s, 30s, 40s. The thing is will you learn the lessons, or will you still continue to be the same person that you was in your 20s, in your 40s? That's why we have Saturn returns. And if you're not going to learn the lessons from your 20s, and you're still carrying that version of you in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, then you haven't evolved. You haven't learned. You're living out of alignment of what you're truly supposed to be in. And like I said, when I was married, I knew things were like falling apart, but I didn't know what to do. I couldn't verbalize it. I couldn't advocate for myself. All I knew was that I wanted somebody to give me what I couldn't give myself. And once my life changed, once the marriage ended, it shook me. Because here I was thinking I was supposed to have this life that's what they told me. The American dream, the house, the family, the white picket fence, the whole American story. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally, I wasn't there. So when I was going through my Saturn return, instead of again sitting in it, working with my partner to go through my Saturn return process with him, I went against him. I disrespected our marriage. I disrespected our household. I disrespected him. And like I said, by the time I turned 35, it was over. Marriage ended. I had hit rock bottom. I was scared. I had a suicide attempt. It was one of the darkest periods of my life. It definitely felt like my world was falling apart. But now I see Saturn wasn't trying to punish me. It was freeing me. It stripped away that life that I thought I wanted, a life that wasn't truly mine, so I can reveal something more real, something more honest with me. And that was a very painful process. Gave me a lot of clarity, however, and the strength to create a life that reflects who I am. And I'm grateful that I didn't lose the connection with my partner. We're friends. We still brought back our friendship. And we have a child who is thriving, who is happy, who's healthy. So I'm grateful for the lessons that we learned. And because I was able to accept responsibility for everything I did during my chaos, during my hot mess period, as Louise stated, because I was a hot mess, I learned from it. I expressed nothing but, apologies, made amends, and I was able to move forward. But you know what I did though? I forgave me. I gave myself grace because I had to forgive me because I was so hard on myself for being this person, for doing the things that I did, not understanding that I did the best that I could at that time. If I could do it all over again, yeah, I would do it differently, but I can't go back, but I can make the best. I learned from my past, and now I use that as purpose to educate other people. So that's why I understand Saturn wasn't trying to punish me. Stephanie says, I was married for 25 years, raised 2 boys. My dad had Alzheimer's and my best friend died a month right after. Dang, that's a lot of stuff going through. Yes, Stephanie, that is a lot. And do you see, when you look back on it now, it makes sense. The things we don't know because nobody is really talking about this. Nobody's really addressing these things. Again, we are all going through things, understanding now that it's cosmic shift. So when Saturn return is happening, it's a transformative period. Because before Saturn return, that first Saturn return in your 20s, most often we were living at home. Maybe we were in college. Maybe we had just got out of college. Maybe we were living by the external influences from parents, from teachers, from society. But Saturn was asking us, are you sure this is the life that is truly yours? It's going to push you to shed those roles. It's going to push you to let go of those things, whether you want to or not. Because if you don't choose to do it, it's going to force you to do it, like I had to. And I don't want anybody to have to hit rock bottom like I did. But Saturn is here to break you down so that you can rebuild. It is going to fall apart. But the only way for things to be rebuilt is for it to fall apart. You have to have the tower moment so that you can rebuild something more amazing, something more abundant. But the destruction isn't necessary to clear away for a stronger foundation. It doesn't have to be a drastic tower moment like I had to experience. It doesn't have to be that drastic. But Saturn is definitely here to help you rebuild. And it's also here to help you grow and take accountability for your life, for your decisions, for your actions. Saturn is the planet of responsibility, time, and wisdom. It forces you to take accountability for the choices that you've made and to build a life aligned with your values. Can't make an omelet without breaking eggs. Exactly, Louise. Well said. Okay, Gus, so yours is in Leo. True. So that says a lot. Interesting. So for those that have, or that are going through your Saturn return, or may be approaching your Saturn return soon, I would advise that you start by being honest with yourself. Take time to reflect on your life. Are you still happy with where you are? Are you ready to create something different? Do you want something more? And this includes your relationships. It includes your career. where you are in your life physically. Maybe you're ready to relocate. I know I'm ready to relocate. And I know a lot of people that get older, they retire and they relocate to somewhere warm, which I understand, especially living in Chicago. But you don't even have to wait for your Saturn return. But if you're going through this, allow yourself time to be honest with yourself. Ask yourself, am I holding on to this because it feels safe, or is it truly aligned with me? You're evolving. Certain things that you've done before just won't work anymore. Are you ready to embrace the new version of you and what's next for you in this new chapter? Again, we can't be the same person at 59 that we were at 29 or 30. So the things that we enjoyed then, and maybe the people that we enjoyed then, we're probably not going to enjoy anymore at 60. At least I wouldn't expect us to, because as you grow and evolve, things change. You change. Your interests change. Your tastes change. And then after you've experienced certain things in your life, one thing about life and death, when you've experienced death the way that I've experienced and others may have experienced, like Andrew, when you experience death back to back with people that are close to you like that, it shakes your world. It will change you in so many ways. Hey, Thompson. Greetings, friends. My ego is better. Yay. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you for joining. When it's not scary, change is refreshing. So here's the thing. Change is going to always be scary for the most part. Because if you're a fixed sign like me, you don't like change. Leo, fixed signs. We don't like change. And for the most part, change is hard and it's scary, especially if you've been living a certain way for so long. Especially when you go through that second Saturn return at 59 or in your mid 50s. You've been living this way for so long, you don't think you need to change. You have gotten so accustomed to it, but then you find yourself at a disconnect. So take time to be honest with yourself and what it is that you want. Hey, Elisa. Yes, we don't like the change. And the scarier it is, the more you need it. That's what I learned how to do with my fear. It's the fear that I have to just walk in, because the more fearful I get, the more I know I'm getting close to my goal. I know the more spirit is telling me, don't give up now. Don't stop. The fear is my fuel. And that's what I learned how to do with that. But it is going to be scary. And one thing about me, I am a risk taker. So sometimes I don't mind the scariness. I like the thrills a little bit, depending on how much of a change it is. But change is never going to be easy, and it will be scary for the most part. So if you are, again, going through your Saturn return or about to, start by asking yourself, is this life that I've been living, is this aligned with what I want now and what is truly aligned with my truth? Maybe you can journal about it, meditate on it, reflect on it. Because resistance often points to the areas where growth is needed. Again, when it comes to the change, we resist it, right, Louise? That's why it gets scary. But that's exactly where the growth is needed. So just get honest with yourself. Then learn how to let go of things with grace. Understanding that letting go is not failure, soulmates. Sometimes you got to let certain things go so you can clear space for what's truly meant for you, something better. And if you got to start from the bottom and work your way back up, then that's okay. Hey, Zen Chris, how you doing, King? And I'm saying that as somebody who is going through that experience, who has gone through that experience. It'll be a year in April since my position ended. And I've basically had to rebuild. I'm starting my own business. I'm doing something that I've never done before. Fully. I did it years ago in my 20s. I did do makeup in my 20s as a freelance makeup artist before I got married, right before my Saturn return started. Interesting enough, I stopped doing it though when I got into my Saturn return. But allow yourself to let go of things. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say, I no longer want all of these things. I don't need to have the biggest house or the biggest car or whatever the case may be. Because your values start to change, right? As you become older, as things start to happen to you, you realize the things that matter to you 20, 30 doesn't matter to you when you're 45, 50. None of those things matter. But if they do, again, that's an invite to you to ask yourself, is it time to change? Is it time to evolve? Is it time to let something go? No is a sentence. Yes, it is, Anne. Michelle says fear-based limitations keep us stuck and prevents us from being our authentic selves. Exactly. And it's one thing that the world wants. They want us to stay stuck. Society wants you to stay stuck because in stuck and in fear, that's how they can control you. That's how they play on the fear. That's how they get us all riled up. And that's why the news media has us living on edge, because we thrive off of that, because that's just the world we live in. But if we can learn to listen to our souls and our hearts and pay attention to what's going on inside of us versus what's going on outside of us, then we can see that we don't have to be stuck. We can live in alignment with our true authentic self. So learn to let go of things. Make space for what's truly meant for you. So maybe you want to write down something that you know you're ready to let go of, whether that's the job or relationship, or maybe it's a belief. Write it down. And if you are ready to actually release it, I would invite you to do that. Burn it on a piece of paper, bury it, or simply shred it as a way of showing the universe that you're ready to let go of this and step into the next chapter of yourself. And remember, every ending is an invitation for a new beginning. As long as you wake up every day with breath in your body, it's always a new beginning. It's always a chance to create something different. It's okay to change your mind. How many of us don't think we can change our mind? It's okay not to know. It's okay to be indecisive. It's okay to say, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't like this job anymore. And that's perfectly fine, because it's your life, your soul, your path, your purpose. Hey, Anne, been sick 3 weeks. I believe I was given that as a gift to self for reflection. And yes, indeed, it was. Absolutely, it was. I don't know if you were on my live at the end of last year, but I was trying to let us know that 2025 is going to call us to look at our physical health, our mental health, our emotional health, our spiritual health. We can't keep outrunning ourselves. And I know a lot of people have been sick lately. Absolutely, it's happening for you, because we got to sit down and reflect. We got to start to rest. We have to start to sit in our emotions and our feelings and our guilt and our past pain and our past struggles. And we got to face our health. We have to look at our health. Everybody, I will highly recommend, Soulmates, go get a physical. I'm just telling you, based off the energies that I've been receiving, the downloads, the messages that I've been getting, check in on your health. Because everything that you don't release emotionally, spiritually, it will absolutely manifest physically. So thank you for bringing that up, Anne. And I'm glad you're feeling better. And you took that time for yourself, because that's the thing about spirit. If you don't sit down and take the time, spirit will sit you down, and it will sit you down for a long time. And then you're upset. Now you're panicking. Pay attention to your bodies, but we don't know how to listen to our hearts and souls and listen to our bodies, because we listen to the collective society tell us grind, grind, grind. We'll sleep when we're dead. But meanwhile, our bodies are falling apart. We can't do anything for anybody if we're not physically capable. So allow yourself rest. Allow yourself the chance to pause. Don't burn yourself out. Especially for somebody else. Do what you need to do for you, because you can't show up for anybody else if you're not well. Thank you. Meant to be here this evening. Prayers to you. Oh, of course, Anne. I'm glad you are feeling better. And if you are struggling through a Saturn return period or a transformational period, you don't have to navigate this alone, soulmates. Again, this is why I do this work. I want to help guide you and mentor you during these processes, during these challenges, help you figure out what your next chapter is going to look like, what your next relationship is going to look like, what is your next life going to look like, what do you want for yourself. Surround yourself with a community of people that can uplift you, that can understand that journey, people that can share the experience with you, that can allow you to go through this, that can provide insight and encouragement. And one thing about me, I can assure you, I am going to encourage you. I will hold your hand. I'm not going to fix you because you're not broken, but I will hold your hand while we figure out what's next for you. And I also help you explore astrological guidance if you're interested in that, because the Saturn Return is just the tip of the iceberg. When you really dive deep into your birth chart, your natal chart, You actually get to find out what your soul purpose is, where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, where your challenges, I shouldn't even say weaknesses, but where your challenges may be, where you show up the best, where you thrive the best in your careers and your relationships. It's almost like the corporate version of a Myers-Briggs type test or Strength Finders test, except it's for your soul. And it is nothing like the corporate dynamic. It's a deeper look at yourself. Louise says culturally is very anti-American to rest. People think you're radical for wanting to take care of yourself and enjoy life. Again, goes back to the toxic power dynamic, that toxic masculine energy that we've always lived in for centuries in this world. You're right. It does look weird when we say we want to rest, but you have to rest. This year is going to make you rest, whether you want to or not. I can't tell you how many people I know that have been experiencing health challenges. High blood pressure, pneumonia, flu, and it's the reason why. I'm not on the fringe for wanting to be healthy and happy. No, ma'am, you are not. I am right there with you. But this time, again, going through that Saturn return, it's your opportunity for growth. Commit to growing. Commit to evolving. Saturn will reward persistence. So even if the steps feel small, keep moving forward. Every step you take, it's still going to bring you one step closer to your true alignment, to that true life that you're meant to have. Progress is about showing up consistently. So be persistent. Reflect on your wins, however small, however minor they may seem. Celebrate that. Every step forward is building a stronger foundation for the future, for your future version of you. The future you is already there. What is your future you doing? They're there. I know my future self. My future self is somewhere in Mexico in the big house overlooking the ocean. I'm just trying to make sure I get there with her because that's what my future self is. Allow yourself the opportunity to anchor in spiritual practices. This year especially is all about spiritual growth, all about spiritual transformation, spiritual healing. Spiritual grounding is tremendous for helping during these transformations, especially during the Saturn return. I wish I knew about grounding when I was going through this in my late 20s, early 30s. And whether that's prayer, meditation, mindfulness, practice something that's going to allow you to anchor into yourself so that you can get quiet, so that you can get still and listen to what it is that your soul is yearning for you to hear. These practices will offer clarity during these uncertain times because Saturn return will be uncertain. Michelle says, I'm in the house right next door. Y'all are hilarious. Any comments, any questions? Hey, Greg, how are you? Happy New Year, my friend. It's good to see you. And the one thing about Saturn return is you have to allow it to happen. It's going to be uncertain, but embrace the unknown. Saturn return is going to shake things up, but instead, again, of resisting, lean into it with curiosity. Adopt a mantra, such as I trust this process of transformation, even when I can't see the whole picture. I have to tell myself that every day, all day, because I don't know the whole picture. I know the vision. I know what my future self is doing, but I don't know the full picture yet of how it's going to look. Because remember, we can plan all day long, but life is going to life. And spirit is going to give you what you need when you need it, not exactly in the way that you ask. Yes, and get quiet. We have to allow ourselves time to get quiet. We don't know how to get quiet. We're so used to distraction. We will pick up the phone and get to scrolling and being on the TikTok or turn on the TV and turn on the radio. We'll do everything except be still and get quiet. Peace, be still. And I'm not saying you have to do it for a long time. You can take a minute, 5 minutes. Like Solomon did earlier, take a walk in nature. Do something that just allows you to get out of the hustle and bustle and the grind of daily life and just get centered with your heart, your soul. Get back into alignment. That's how you can really start to tap into what it is that your body is trying to get you to see. Because the body speaks to us and we don't even understand it. because we grind, we ignore it. So we'll keep working. Yes, I'm tired. Yes, I'm overwhelmed, but I'm going to keep working. And I don't know why I'm having these problems at home in my relationship, or why me and my partner can't get along, and why the people at work are bothering me. It's because you're stressed and overwhelmed and you need tired and you need rest. And we don't know how to do that. And your body is going to show you that. The aches and pains, those little, pay attention. Go check them out, especially now, because things will get worse if you don't look into it. Learn how to connect with yourself. Learn how to connect within. Reconnect with the dreams that you have set aside. How many of us had dreams when we were younger? And now we figure, oh, we're too old. I'm just too old. I don't think we're ever too old for anything as long as we're living. Saturn asks you to realign with those deeper truths. Not what others expect. Not what society is telling you. What truly brings you fulfillment? And how can you create a life that reflects what truly aligns with you, who you truly are? And I don't mean what the titles are. I don't mean what the degree says. I don't mean what the labels are. I mean with your soul's purpose. Oftentimes we can't understand our soul's purpose because we don't even know how to listen to our soul. That's why I do this work. That's why I come live, to educate the masses, to help you understand it's time to get in alignment. Go with your gut, Stephanie. You have such the energy and the attitude. That's why I said I can never imagine that you're the age that you are, because you have such a vivacious young energy. And again, you are as old or as young as you feel, as you think, because our souls don't have an age. Our souls only have a purpose. So if we can stay in alignment with that, anything outside of us, it's only going to align. We're going to attract what's meant for us, regardless of age, because age does not matter. Saturn Return is here. It's often here not to punish, but to teach us. So if you're going through your Saturn Return period, allow yourself to go through that process. Not to go through the chaos, not to resist it, because it may feel heavy. It can be life-changing, life-altering for me, especially. Like I said, when I was going through mine, I lost my father. I was losing myself. I was essentially losing my marriage. And I could not I just couldn't get it together. I couldn't pick up the pieces. Nobody was educating me on these things like I had to learn how to do. I didn't know anything about a Saturn return. I didn't even know anything about astrology then. But on the mental level, I knew something was going on. And that's all that I knew. I knew I had a mental health challenge. All I knew was I was depressed. And I needed antidepressants and go talk to a therapist. And I'm not knocking any of that. And it served its purpose for as long as it could. But essentially, the only thing that was going to get me better and back into alignment was me actually doing the work. Me actually sitting with myself, asking myself tough questions that I needed to ask, taking accountability for my actions, learning from the lessons, and saying, I don't want to be that way anymore. I don't want to go through that chaos. I don't want to create any more pain on anybody else like I did to my husband when I was married to him. I don't want to treat myself like that. I don't want to disrespect myself that way again. This is what Saturn Return teaches us if we allow it to, if we learn from it. It's not easy when you don't know what's happening. And oftentimes we want to isolate. I was notorious for isolating. I couldn't even tell my partner what I was experiencing because I was so uncomfortable within myself, and I felt so powerless to my emotions. I felt powerless to myself. I essentially just didn't even know my own strength. I didn't even try. I just gave in. I would be isolated. I would be depressed. And everything I needed was already inside of me all along, but nobody told me. I had to find it. I had to figure it out. I figured it out the hard way, but I figured it out, thank goodness. I love it, Stephanie. You should be a firecracker. We need that. We need those people. We need firecrackers in the world. Yes. I guess I'm something like that too. You just got to figure out how to navigate it. And that's the thing. We take life seriously. Yes, life is serious, but it's not that serious. You can change. You can create what you want. You can play. But because we live in a world that is all about paying bills, status quo, do this or the other, get canceled, And it's so toxic and heavy that it does not allow us to fully develop our gifts, to fully be who we truly are. And I'm here to rewrite that and tell you that, yes, soulmates, you can do that. Don't allow the outside world to affect your soul's purpose. Don't let whatever somebody's rules or laws are dictate why you're here in this world. Because you do have a purpose, every last one of us. And I know it feels like everything is going against us and the world has it out for us. But it's just spirit trying to get you to listen, and the spirit trying to get you to fight. It's trying to get you to see, you know, you have what it takes to change, right? All you got to do is just ask and I'll help you. All you got to do is just find it within. I'll help you. That's what I had to do. When I hit rock bottom, I didn't have any other way to go. I didn't have any other choice. I had to live because I couldn't die. So are you going to stay stuck? Are you going to stay low? I chose not to. I couldn't. I had a son that I definitely wanted to live for and see grow up. But most importantly, I deserved it. I deserve more. I got the gift of life. And how dare I almost throw that away when it's a precious, valuable gift that can be taken just like that. So let's enjoy life. Let's live life to its fullest. Stop living so stuck, so stagnant, so restricted. Stop being so afraid of change. Grow, evolve, have fun. Do something different. Just try. Thank you, Stephanie. For those that don't know, Stephanie said I could kick Oprah's behind. I love it. Not that I'm trying to kick Auntie Oprah's behind, but Auntie Oprah is from a different generation. Love her to death. She was one of the pioneers. But again, I'm here talking from my firsthand experience as a survivor of suicide, of heartbreak, grief, pain, all good, bad, and the ugly. Letting you all know that if I can do it, you can too. And you don't have to go through this alone because I'm here to support you. I didn't have that kind of support when I was struggling, but I want to be that support for somebody else. I want to be the change that I needed for others because we're going to go through it. Even if it's not a Saturn return, you are going through a transformation right now. I say it all the time because I know we are. Everybody I talk to is going through a shift. Professionally, personally, physically, emotionally, but we are all being tested. Our past is starting to show up. Things are coming up because it's time to release. It's time to evolve. It's a universal shift. The conscious collective is evolving. Let's get in alignment. And this journey can feel heavy, even isolating. But the beauty is that it clears the clutter, both internal and external, so you can truly see yourself and your path. If we don't have these lessons, how can we learn? It teaches us how to grow. And it doesn't come from avoiding hard stuff. We can't keep avoiding the hard stuff. 2025 won't allow you to. It's going to sit you down. I just told you, if you're not paying attention to your body, you will have to, one way or the other. And it's not going to be pretty if you don't be proactive about it. Stop avoiding the hard emotions. Stop avoiding the hard conversations. Stop avoiding looking at your budgets. It's time to face the things that we keep trying to run from. We have to look at it now. And that's how you grow. Being comfortable, not looking at the hard stuff, that doesn't help you grow. Saturn doesn't reward that. Spirit won't reward that. If you're trying to manifest a life that's truly for you, you got to step outside your comfort zone. You have to learn how to embrace the change, embrace the chaos, the hard stuff, to learn from it, to step into this next you with intention, with clarity. What truth, soulmates, have you been avoiding about yourself? Saturn teaches us that facing our fears and our challenges head on is how we reclaim our power, our divine feminine power, our divine masculine power, not the power that we think those that are in leadership have over us, because they don't. We are the leaders of our lives. We have the power in our own lives. What would it take for you to finally face the thing that you have been avoiding? Hey, you. Literally. Hi, you. Welcome. Thank you for joining. I love that your screen name is just you. I love it. Thank you for being here. I'm glad that you were meant to be here. Everybody that's here is here for a reason. It's not by coincidence. There's no such thing as coincidence in universe. Everything is happening for you. And when we have these shifts with Saturn, when Saturn is, again, it's in Pisces right now, and it's going to be here until next year. So we are going to go through these shifts, especially on a spiritual level, like I said in the beginning, because it's in Pisces, which is related to spiritualism, mysticism. You're going to go through this shift, whether you know it or not. But if you're in your Saturn return, you're really going to feel it the most because it's exactly where it was at the time you were born. It's at a moment in your life where you are going through a spiritual shift, maybe a physical shift, definitely a life shift because you're getting older. You have the first one in your mid 20s, early 30s, the second one in your mid 50s. And like I said, God is willing, you have your third Saturn return in your 80s. I don't think there's any more Saturn returns after that, right? Because I don't know if we're living that long, but those are the three pivotal moments. And if you think about it, life changes so much in those pivotal moments. I know, again, if I can see 80, I know I won't be the same person that I am today. But I will look back on today and say, you know what? I had a fabulous life. I lived in alignment with my purpose, did what I wanted to do to help the masses and the collective, to save lives and to help people heal. And at 80, I'm going to be very proud and look back on that with such grace and peace. Because I feel like at that age, I don't want anything but peace. I don't want to be bothered with anything else. So allow yourself to use whatever these lessons are that Saturn is trying to teach you as an opportunity to face your fears, step outside of your challenges. Step outside of your comfort zone and face your challenges head on. This is how you reclaim that power. This is how you gain your strength. This is how you get back into alignment with who you are. It's your invitation to step fully into your true soul's purpose. Trust everything. Everything that feel like it's falling apart is falling into alignment. It's falling into place. It's just making room for what's really for you. So glad you are in the world. I will sleep better tonight. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad to be in this world too, especially now that I know why I'm meant to be in this world. Hey, Zen. Thank you, beautiful. I needed this. My fat is getting out of the nursing home to come live with me. Oh, my dad. Okay. I'm scared. I'm not a nurse. Hearing this really makes me feel better. Thank you, Zen, for sharing. I'm glad I was able to make you feel better. And don't be afraid. You take it one day at a time. Do the best you can. And he's your dad. You know, you're a woman. You'll be able to give him what he needs intuitively. You'll know what he needs. He's been your dad all your life. And I think that is such a beautiful experience to have. I didn't get that opportunity with my dad. My dad transitioned, like I said, in 2014. And he transitioned into sleep. And we weren't even communicating at the time. So just allow yourself grace and be patient with yourself and your dad. But thank you for sharing and being here. Thank you. I appreciate that. Any questions, soulmates, about anything? I feel like I threw a lot at you. So please, if you want me to back up or if you have questions about maybe where Saturn is in your chart, please do reach out because I really, again, want to educate you on what this means for you and what this could possibly look like. Because regardless of where your Saturn falls, you still will feel the influence of Saturn one way or the other. We all are. It's a collective shift. This is the year of the Great Awakening. We are all going to go through some awakenings. I feel like I'm going to go through another one. I thought I was done, but I'm okay with it now. I'm embracing it because I understand it's helping me get closer to my true purpose. I'm already on the path. Yes, Michelle. So for the Saturn, if your Saturn is in Taurus, let me go back up to my notes. So if your Saturn falls in Taurus, then that means there are themes revolving around money, security, and stability. So maybe an opportunity for you to evaluate your relationships with resources and essentially your self-worth. And I'm not surprised that, like you said, you walked away from a job, because now maybe you're going through that period where you're starting to see, I'm not in alignment with where I truly want to be. I'm having to reevaluate what's truly worth me. Where's my worth? Where's my security and stability coming from? You know that you wanted something better. You closed one door and you're open and willing to embrace what's next. And I salute you for embracing that with such optimism, because I can't tell you how many positions I've lost over the years. And every time those doors were closed, it would shake me to my core, to the point where I didn't even see that another door was getting ready to open. I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I never could see a light, because I was so hard on myself. I was judging myself. I was afraid of what my husband would think if I came home and told him I lost another job, or what my family would think, or what my friends would think. So I judged myself, and I was putting so much pressure and guilt on myself. And it was no reason to, because it wasn't anything wrong. It was just time to let go. Certain things have to leave so that better things can come. Certain people have to leave so that better people can come. It's all a learning lesson. So maybe that is why you are experiencing this right now. And if you want to dive in more, definitely feel free to reach out. I'm super proud of you and excited that you decided to choose you instead of playing the corporate grind game, allowing them to misuse you and abuse you, and choosing you first. Again, I know this is a heavy time for some of us. A lot of us are going through shifts, financially, spiritually, physically, emotionally. But it's an opportunity to get in alignment so that our internal world can reflect on the external. Oftentimes we think if we receive it on the external, then we'll feel better on the internal. But that's not how it works. It's always the other way around. And I know society made us think it was the other way. They made us think if we made all the money, if we got these big jobs, and if we had the big office overlooking the lake, or if we had the big car and the big house, that was going to make us feel good. But how many people do you know that are rich and have money that are so unhappy? Because they're not at peace internally. Nothing that you can buy, nothing that you can do to get internal fulfillment and internal peace. There is no price tag on that. It's up to you to be committed to your growth process. It's up to you to be committed to wanting to make a transformation, for wanting to evolve, for wanting to grow mentally, spiritually, emotionally, even physically. That's what Saturn ultimately is trying to get us to see. But 2025 especially is going to do it. You're going to receive so many tests right now, and life is going to look so interesting this year that you're not going to even know what is going on. You don't know if you're coming or going, but just know that it's always happening for you. We have Cancer right now. Mars in Cancer going retrograde. Soon Venus will be in retrograde. There's going to be so many shifts astrologically and cosmically that there's nothing that we can do about it except, like I said, lean into it. Reach out to somebody to support you in this space, because it can be chaotic. It can be confusing. It can be stressful. It can be overwhelming. It will be. But that's why it's so important to have people to support you. That's why it's so important to speak up, ask for help, ask for guidance, express how you feel. If you're not okay, say something. Don't allow yourself to just be stuck in the clutter, to be stuck in the chaos. You deserve more than that. Allow yourself to learn from this. Embrace, learn, grow, evolve. Let's face what we have been afraid to face. Let's unlearn everything that we have been taught. It's 2025. I know people that are still living as if it's BC 105. Living in the old way, in the old world, when things are no longer that way. And it's okay to accept the new world. It's okay to change. And may not make sense, but learn how to get curious. Try to learn about it. How many of us are so afraid of technology that we just get frustrated? I know a lot of people feel some type of way about AI. And I'm not sure why, but I think it can be a wonderful tool. I think everything that we are going through in terms of change, it can be beautiful if we do it in the right way, if we change for the right reasons, not to abuse people, not to take advantage, not to use our power to overcome others, but to help support each other, uplift each other. What can we do with the power? What can we do with these changes, with the evolution, with the technology? Do something more productive. Trust, again, everything. Everything that feels like it's falling apart is definitely falling into place. Everything that's happening for you always happens the way it's supposed to. Everything is already written. Let's embrace it. Let's just step into it. Hey, Keith, unite. Absolutely. Let's unite. We need more unity. Now more than ever. Every day I get an email about something going on in mainstream. I don't look at the news, but every time I see a headline, it fuels me to want to do the exact opposite. Every time I hear about a new law or new rule that's saying we're going to break this apart and we're going to separate these people and we're going to do this, that, and the other, the more I say, no, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to create more unity. Because I'm ready to challenge the status quo. I want to, again, do the opposite of what's already been done. All of these things have been done before. What can we do different now? The old way of living just is not going to work anymore. It really hasn't been working. How many of us are still seeing people struggling with mental and emotional distress? People still suffering in silence. Now, especially because they're so afraid. And I want to tell you, you don't have to be afraid. There's no reason to. Write down whatever it is that you're experiencing. Write it down or hold it in your heart or simply reflect on whatever it is that you got out of this session today. Because knowing that you are here today was, again, spirit, universe showing you that you needed to be here to see you're getting ready to go through a shift if you haven't already gone through it. So embrace that. Don't resist it. Get curious with it. Ask yourself, what is this that spirit is trying to teach me? What is one step that I can take today to realign with my truth? How can I be more in alignment with where I truly want to be? Every intentional step will get you closer. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Michelle. Any questions? Any comments, soulmates? I would love to hear how the session resonated with you all. If you want to share any thoughts, any takeaways, any feedback, even if you don't feel comfortable sharing it here. Also, if you've been moved by any of the content that I've been sharing, please feel free to donate. Like I said, I do this for a living. So every donation that you give, again, is an energy exchange. And I greatly appreciate it. I give energy to you and doing these lives and educating you. So the money, again, is an energy exchange. Everything is an energy exchange. Every thought, every action, every word is an energy exchange. Let's put more positive energy into the world, into the collective. We need it. We need it now more than ever, especially. Yes, and I'm glad you are re-energized. You need to be. I wrote a list of to do. Good for you, beautiful. At the bottom, I wrote buy makeup and do my hair. Listen, when you feel good on the inside, you will look good on the outside and vice versa. So the fact that you even said that lets me know you're feeling good, because guess what? There were days where I wasn't feeling good on the inside and I would do my hair and makeup and be feeling like the scum of the earth internally. That's how come people didn't know I was suffering so much, because I would do the opposite. I would put on this pretty face. Today I'm glowing because I feel great, because I've released so much negative energy. I did the spiritual healing. After I did the mental and emotional work, I had to do the spiritual work. That was the other piece of the healing puzzle that I was missing out on. And I finally embraced that just within the last couple of years. Hey, Suleiman, you are welcome, King. And that's what I write about in my book, Healing Out Loud, which is still available now for pre-order. It is coming out next month. So for those that pre-ordered already, be on the lookout. I will be reaching out to you soon to let you know. I'm really excited for you all to read it, because that's exactly what is the core of everything I've talked about. Healing internally, mind, body, soul alignment. And I see now why I was writing it in 2024. I guess I can kind of see now why it didn't come out last year, because I see this year, especially, a lot of people are going to go through things that they need to heal from. A lot of us are going to experience grief, even old grief that we thought we were past. Again, you cannot outrun yourself. When our past is coming up in our present, that means it's time to address it. It's time to heal it, transform it, and then use it for our fuel, our purpose, our strength. So again, soulmates, if you are ready to do this work, if you are ready to step into your new self, do this transformation, I'm here to support you. You do not have to do this alone. And if there's any questions, if you want me to help you figure out your astrology chart, I would love to help you with that. And again, reach out. You can actually join my challenge that I'm starting on February 1st for my Inside Timer family. If you're not following me, follow me on my socials on Facebook, Instagram, because I'm going to do the challenge on my Facebook group. And I would love for you all to do the challenge starting in February for the whole month to start doing this work, because there's a lot of distraction. There's a lot of distraction going on in this world. And they're doing everything to make you live in a fear state. And they're going to do everything that they can to keep us stuck. And they're going to do everything that they can to make us feel like this is just the way life has to be. The world has always been this way, so it just has to stay this way. And I'm here to tell you it doesn't, because I don't want it to stay this way. And if I have to change it as much as I can, then I'm going to do what I can to change it, because it doesn't work anymore. It's not going to work anymore. Thank you, Anne. What month do things improve? I will hibernate. Oh, is it Pandra? I love that. No, beautiful. You can't hibernate. I know you want to hibernate, but if you don't do the work, and I don't want you to hibernate. I don't want you to hibernate. I want you to live your life in alignment with who you truly are. Don't hibernate, beautiful. That's what they want us to do. Don't allow them to scare you. Things will improve when you decide they're going to improve. And every day it may not be easy, but I'm telling you, all the healing work that we do now, anything that we release now, anything that we let go of now, anything that we embrace and be honest about now, is only going to help you get better. By the time this year ends, you will not be the same. This world won't be the same. It's going to change in so many ways. You've already seen January. 2025 kicked off with a bang. I told you all this month was going to go by fast. And here we are getting ready to start February on Saturday. So allow yourself to just grow through it, Pandra. Don't hibernate. But if you are going to be in what I like to call hermit mode, because I do go into hermit mode a lot, allow yourself to, again, sit with your thoughts, with your emotions, sit with your spirit, meditate, reflect. Think about what it is that you want for yourself. What is it that you don't like about the world or about yourself? What can you do? Because you have power within you to change it. And be patient. And if you want to reach out, I can definitely help support you with that. And depending on your birth chart, there's certain things that you're going to grow through this year that you are needing to release and let go of. And I know for me, my biggest challenge has been about boundaries, emotional stability, and stepping into my power. All of the three things that have challenged me the most. Thank you for the donation. And for those that are not following me on Inside Timer, you can donate. On Instagram, you can visit the link in my link tree. On Facebook, I think I have the pinned post. Again, I appreciate all the donations and the support. But going back to you, Pandra, like I said, we all have different lessons depending on our soul's purpose, our reason for being here. And for me, the astrology chart helps me understand in more detail. So I would love to help you with that if you're open to it, because that'll essentially tell you what needs to be improved and how you can go about improving it. Because again, we all came here for certain reasons, certain lessons, certain tests, but we all have purposes. So if you can understand what your challenges are, then you can learn how to improve them. But you got to know what the challenges are first. So soulmate, thank you for joining. If there's no other comments, questions, I will bid you farewell, but please reach out. Follow me on Inside Timer. Soulmates, please go follow me on what's the Not TikTok. Well, yes, TikTok too, but I was going to say YouTube at KS Empowerment. I'm going to type it in here because I always forget. And follow me on my handles because, like I say, I do a lot more lives on Instagram and Facebook because I don't have to schedule them 48 hours in advance like I do on Inside Timer. And sometimes spirit moves me at certain moments and I go off whatever spirit tells me I need to share. So there's some times where I have a thing that I want to share and I can't schedule it in time on Inside Timer. So if you want to follow me outside of Inside Timer, you can feel free to do so. And you can also join my challenge. For those on Facebook, definitely reach out, connect with me so that I can add you to the Facebook group that I created. And I also offer coaching opportunities for those that are, like I said, ready to explore this. I don't want to say coach. I'm not a coach. I'm your guide. I'm not going to coach you. I'm going to guide you through your transformation and help you with your growth process. So if this sounds like you, reach out directly. And again, I'm here to support you. Don't feel like you're alone in your struggles. Reach out to the people that love and support you. And if you don't have a soul tribe, soulmate, you got me. And in fact, that's the name of my group, my soul tribe. So yes, soulmates, we are not in this by ourselves. So also don't forget to check out my next live. I do have 2 other lives scheduled already for Inside Timer. So follow me on Inside Timer for those that are not following me, those that have just joined my live for the first time. Thank you for joining. The next live I'm going to be doing is on Monday. And that one is about soul contracts and karmic debts, karmic relationships. 2025 is a year of karmic lessons, which is why I have to talk about this because we are going through things, we are experiencing things that are karmic relationships, karmic debts, things that we're supposed to learn and grow from, but we don't know because we're still reliving the same lessons over and over again. So I want to introduce us to that. And I want to educate us on that so that we can grow through this, grow through this transformation in peace. Maybe you're holding on to something or somebody or a belief that you need to let go of. Okay, did I misspell it? Oh, that's weird. Try it again. If not, I will send you the link. If that didn't work, that's so weird. Or maybe I'm spelling it wrong. It's probably me. I think I think I had the capital M. It's not a capital M. So I want to leave you with this, soulmates, before I wrap up. Remember, Saturn Return, if you're going through your Saturn Return, or if you're about to go through your Saturn Return, remember, it's not here to punish you. It's here to realign you with your truth. Think of it as a forest fire. It might feel destructive in the moment, but it's clearing space for new growth. Stronger, more vibrant than before. Everything that happened earlier this month in California, it's only going to be built stronger, better, greater than it was before. This process, again, is about releasing, letting go. This is the year of 9. It's time to wrap it up. We can't carry these things. We can't carry these people. We can't carry these beliefs into 2026 and beyond. Because after 2026, the world is really going to change. Your life is going to change. This year is the final year of lessons. And if you haven't learned them, then you're just going to carry it on. And at what point are you going to evolve and be better? Thank you, Louise, for the donation. So allow yourself to go through this transformational period with grace, with patience. You're going to have patience because it will feel heavy, even isolating. But the beauty of it is that it's clearing the clutter, both internally and externally. So you can truly see yourself, your power, your strength, and your path. Growth doesn't come from avoiding the hard stuff. It comes from embracing it, learning from it, stepping into your next chapter. Stop trying to outrun yourself, soulmates. You can't outrun you. It's time to face it. What weights are you carrying that no longer need to be held on to? Let go of the stress. Let go of the burnout. Learn how to say no. Kings, know how to express your emotions. Find somebody to connect to. Stop holding on so much. let go of that weight. You don't need to carry it. It's beneath you. You don't need it anymore. If you could take one small, bold step today, soulmates, towards the truth, what would that look like for you? What is your truth? My earbud keeps falling out because my ear is sweating. But I get excited when I talk about this stuff. I want us to embrace our new chapters with grace, with passion. We don't have to go through this. We don't have to fight against it. But just take a moment to reflect. Trust that everything that you're doing is guiding you to exactly where you need to be. And if it's something you need to change, be honest about it. Face those fears head on. Reclaim your power. The only way you're going to know how strong you are is by stepping outside of your comfort zone. It's by facing your fears and your challenges head on. And for those that have gone through the death and rebirth transformational process like me, as a Scorpio, that's what I do. Death and rebirth. And because Pluto is in Aquarius for the next 20 years, again, Pluto associated with Scorpio, we all are going to go through these deaths and rebirths, especially in the collective, because Aquarius is about humanity. It's about innovation. So yes, things are going to change. Things are going to evolve, but it's going to start with you first. So thank you, soulmates, for allowing me to grace you with this energy, with this information. Hey, Yvonne, it's good to see you, beautiful. I made the choice to unfriend my abusive ex-husband's uncle who never checked up on my son when the uncle found out I was divorcing. Wow. Well, I'm glad you made the choice to do what you needed to do for yourself and that you are safe, and hope your son is as well. And do, again, especially in our relationships, a lot of us are really going to experience shifts in our relationships, especially this year, simply because 2025 is trying to show us a new way of loving. This is why I keep talking about having deeper connections. Hey, April, it's good to see you, beautiful. I just pulled the North Node from Moonology. Step out of your comfort zone. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. That's the thing. This year is especially challenging us to step outside of our comfort zone. We have to. We've been living in this state for too long. And honestly, it hasn't been that comfortable for me. Living in this toxic power dynamic and this chaotic world has not been comfortable. I just tried to make it be comfortable, which is why I had so much distress 5 years ago, 6 years ago, going through my Saturn return the way that I did. It was chaotic because I was not in alignment with myself. But I learned how to step outside that comfort zone when I had to. So thank you for sharing that message, Louise. Even when you're rich and famous, please keep doing it. Oh, Louise, you are so sweet, beautiful. One thing about me, I'm going to always connect with the people. I'm here for the soulmates. I love how you said when I'm rich and famous. Yes, exactly. Only way I'm going to be rich and famous is when people start to transform. When lives start to be saved. That's when I'll know that I'm rich. That's what I want to be famous for. I want to be famous for transforming the way we connect and love and relate and heal in this world. That's what I want to be known for. That's the legacy I'm trying to create. So I appreciate you saying that, Louise. And thank you again, soulmates, like I said, for joining. I have another live on Monday and then another one after that on the 8th. Follow me on Inside Timer. I'll let you know for sure. I thought I had it in my notes, but I do have 2 other lives scheduled. I'll try to schedule the other ones. Like I said, whenever Spirit tells me I need to speak about something is when I try to schedule them, but sometimes I just have to go on the fly. Hey, Melinda, it's so good to see you, beautiful. Oh, no worries. I appreciate you popping in to say hi. I'm glad you were able to catch me. That means I'm still within my 2-hour limit on Insight Timer, and you can still find me. It's good to see you. I hope all is well. So again, thank you, soulmates. If you want to donate, please do so. If you're an Insight Timer and if you have an iPhone, please donate after the live because they take 30%. I think they still take a lot, but whatever you can donate, I appreciate it. Thank you. It's great to see you all. Have a wonderful Tuesday, a wonderful rest of the week. And like I said, I have my next live on Monday. I hope to see you then, where I'll be talking about our karmic lessons and soul contracts. Oh, my next live is on Wednesday, February the 5th. And this one is going to be a little, I'm not going to say it's taboo, but it's related to sex. But I want to talk about sex and the spiritual meaning behind it and why we are so disconnected and why we keep giving ourselves to people that are not connected with us. And why 2025 is going to challenge you to stop just laying with any and everybody. Stop giving your time, energy, body, soul to people that are aligned with you. And after that, I have another live. The role that you play, radical accountability for your healing and growth. So soulmates, stay tuned. Let's do this work together. We got things to do. We got reasons for being here. And it is much bigger than going to work, paying taxes, and paying bills. So thank you all again so much for joining me. Also, if you want to pre-order my book, you can find the link in my link tree. Like I said, it's coming out next month. Can't wait for you all to read it. For everybody that's already pre-ordered, I'll be reaching out soon. Thank you for your support. As always, soulmates, let's continue to heal, to glow, to grow, to love, to connect, to create, and live in alignment. Let's continue to rise together and be better, be best, be who we truly are meant to be. Together, not divided, together. Thank you all. I love you all so much. Thank you again for joining. Hello, family on Instagram. Hi, Hot. Hey, Omeezy. I think my earbud fell out. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope y'all have a good night. Talk to you all soon. Love you, soulmates. Night, night.